Welcome to the audio of the non-religious spirituality book, Happy Soul, Hungry Mind, a modern-day parable about practical spirituality. Chapter 12, Transform Your Thoughts.
So, how do I manage my mind, buddy? With all that's going on, how do I stay sane?
Rishi swirled his finger.
The spiritual path is a great way to manage our minds. Do you remember the 3 steps? No problem. Let me help you. Transform your thoughts, mature your perspectives, and quiet your mind. If we transform our thoughts, it can change our lives right away.
That would be great.
Before we transform our thoughts, it's important to understand the impact of our thinking. Let me share a story. In ancient India, 2 boys wanted to become disciples of a great sage. The sage decided to test them. He gave both a dove and said, "Go to a place where there is no one watching or aware of your actions and kill the dove."
Okay.
Yeah. The first boy found a cave. He made sure no one was watching. He killed the dove and came back excitedly. The sage looked sadly at the dead bird and asked him to wait.
Travis smirked.
After several hours, the second boy came back with his dove still alive. The sage asked him why he had failed. He replied, "O sage, I was about to kill the bird when I realized the bird was watching me. But I justified it by saying the bird was the object of the test, so maybe it doesn't count. Next, I realized God was watching, but I justified that by saying I haven't seen God yet, so maybe He doesn't count. Finally, I was ready to kill the bird, but I realized..."
What?
The boy said, "O respected Guru, I was watching, and no matter how hard I tried, I was always aware. Even if I set up a rock to fall on the bird and stepped away, I was still aware."
A mild vibration went up Rishi's back.
The sage made the second boy his disciple and sent the first boy away.
Well, can't hide from your own mind.
That, Travis, my friend, that's a really important point. We must choose our thoughts carefully, as they leave impressions on our own mind. Negative thoughts leave negative impressions, making us cynical, while positive thoughts leave positive impressions, making us optimistic.
Be positive. I've read that so many times.
A single thought is harmless, but an unending series of similar thoughts and resulting actions take on huge proportions.
Water, when it flows continuously, it'll even cut through rock, like the Grand Canyon.
Great example. The power of repetition. We first generate the impressions, and then the impressions define us. The stronger the impressions, the more we are drawn to them.
Travis rolled his fingers.
Feeds on itself.
Yes. Have you heard this quote? Watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Actions become habits. Habits become your character. And your character becomes your destiny.
Buddy, that's powerful. What we think, we become.
Yes. Every action, thought, and feeling is recorded in our subconscious mind. We must respect this phenomenon. Our past impressions and anxieties molds our personalities.
Rishi drew his hands apart.
We must decompress years of impressions to free ourselves.
This will keep our mind from behaving like a bull in a china shop.
Well, hopefully. I can't promise that in your case.
Travis waved his finger, indicating he will get back. Rishi smiled.
Travis, we must choose the right thoughts.
Okay, buddy. I'll bite on that. Which are the right thoughts?
Ah,
Rishi held up his index finger.
right thoughts aren't about morality. It's about choosing the thoughts that make us peaceful. Do our thoughts make us calmer or more disturbed?
Good answer.
Travis gave a firm nod. Rishi smiled.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so which thoughts make us more disturbed? How should we transform our thoughts?
Let's start with the first point. We generate a lot of thoughts in fantasizing and worrying about our future. When we think about the future excessively, we disturb our peace.
An appointment with the future may cause disappointment.
Travis bobbed as he rhymed.
Good one. When I was a manager, I couldn't wait to be a director. Then I wanted to be a VP. Now I can't wait to be a CEO. I'm always waiting for an outcome in the future. Life is never about the destination, because when we get to the destination, we want a new destination.
We must love the journey. The future never comes.
Yes. Therefore, we should direct our thoughts toward the present. To become peaceful, we should spend less than 10% of our thoughts on the future.
Wow, buddy, you're right. I spend a majority of my thought on the future, and I'm not in the present. This is great advice.
Rishi playfully patted himself.
We think about the future so we can control our destiny.
That's delusional.
No, it's common sense.
We'll die trying, but destiny will never be in our control, Travis. It will never.
I'm not sure about that, buddy.
We can't control our destiny. We can only control our effort and attitude. We need to do our best and be prepared for destiny to take its course.
Travis leaned forward.
I need your help, Rishi. Can you explain this?
Sure. Any outcome is dependent on several factors, many of them out of our control. Anyone who says they can control their destiny is misguided and isn't acknowledging the behind the scenes factors that contribute to the outcome happening. Staying focused on your effort and only taking ownership of your effort keeps you humble and hungry.
Okay, like the Houston Rockets motto.
Yes, when you take ownership by claiming you can produce an outcome, you plant the seeds of arrogance and ego. You open up yourself for potential disappointment.
I'm gonna need an example.
Okay, think of a basketball team. A basketball team can never guarantee a win.
Well, of course they can, if they play hard.
No, they can't. It depends on how the other team plays. There are several other factors too. The most important, player injuries on both teams.
Okay, I get you on that.
No team can ever say they're going to win a game. All they can say is we're going to play like we have never played before. We will outdo all our previous performances.
Focus on the effort, not on the outcome.
Yes. And then when they're behind, they won't be dejected. And when they're ahead, they won't become complacent. They will play their best regardless of the score.
Rishi sliced the air.
Well, that's called poise. Playing with poise.
Rishi smiled.
Yes, it is playing with poise. I remember when the Rockets won the championships, they were playing New York Knicks. When the Knicks were down, Patrick Ewing, their star player, would throw a fit. When they were up, he'd strut around. On the Rocket side, Hakeem Olajuwon always kept his calm. Up or down, the Rockets would just play their game.
Man, you really are an oldie.
Travis rolled his eyes in jest.
Excuse me?
Yeah, man, those names are from 100 years ago.
No, they are not.
Rishi protested by playfully stomping his right foot.
You know, it's a big deal. It was a huge win for the Rockets. Anyways, the top athletes are so well focused on doing their part regardless of the situation. Imagine the intense pressure they must feel. We all can learn from them. You remember at the Houston Super Bowl, Tom Brady and the Patriots delivered the biggest comeback in football history.
Travis's face lit up.
Incredible game.
I have great respect for Steph Curry. He's just phenomenal. I'm impressed with how he's become the best three-point shooter, even though he was completely disregarded during his school years.
Hey man, he's reinvented basketball. They said he wasn't cut out for it. Well, he showed them. Man, he is unbelievable. Doesn't change the fact that you, my friend, are an oldie.
Well, you want to play a game of racquetball, Mr. I am youthful?
Rishi shook his torso, his competitive spirit on full display.
Now, what was I talking about? Yes, the effort is the only thing under our control. The outcome is not.
Okay, I agree. But aren't outcomes good motivators?
Using outcomes as motivators is like using steroids to build muscles. It works in the short term, but hurts you in the long term. Do you have a goal to be $1 billion company?
Oh man, better believe it.
Bet that's a super strong motivator for you.
It drives you, my friend, really motivates you.
Now, tell me this. What happens during those weeks and months when you feel that outcome is becoming less likely or you feel it's drifting away?
It's depressing. It's horrible.
Travis clamped his jaw and clenched his fist. Rishi watched Travis's reaction.
Watch yourself, Travis. The outcome has such a strong hold on you. Just thinking about not achieving it is causing this visceral reaction in you. I can see it on your face.
Becoming conscious of himself, Travis eased up.
I bet the times you find the goal is moving away are highly demotivating and frustrating.
It's frustrating beyond imagination.
Obsessing about outcomes will always cause an emotional roller coaster. It will drive you crazy and exhaust you mentally.
Man, that's exactly what's happening to me right now. But if I don't have the fire for achieving the outcome, won't my effort be lackluster?
Not focusing on the outcome doesn't mean you ease up. Put all your energy into your effort. Let that be the motivator. The fire for the outcome, as you called it, will only end up burning you. Focus on your effort. It's less emotionally draining. When I want to lose weight, I don't weigh myself.
Why don't you weigh yourself?
My weight is the outcome. The other outcome I don't want to think about is how I look when I'll be thin.
Isn't visualizing your goal good?
It can be really counterproductive. When you're down 28 points at halftime during the Super Bowl, victory visualization is meaningless in motivating you.
We'll only visualize defeat at that point.
Yes, exactly. Any hope will be drowned by despair. Your mind will just not accept it. Visualizing the goal traps the mind in the outcome and swings it violently between hope and despair. So instead of measuring weight, I measure how many steps I walk and how many calories I take in every day. That's all I watch.
That's interesting to me.
It's liberating, Travis. It's liberating. I don't have to worry if I'm losing weight or not. The pressure is off. Previously, I used to weigh myself, and then some days the news is good, and some days it's not. Now, I weigh myself once a month. I don't do it every day. When you focus on the effort, there's less emotional drama. You just say, I need to walk more so I can get my quota done. That's your only focus. Simple.
Well, I'll be darned.
What do you mean?
You're making sense, Master Yoda.
Travis bobbed, referring to the character from the Star Wars movie.
Why are you surprised, Obi-Wan?
If I stop worrying about the outcome, from what you're saying, I could be free.
Bingo!
Rishi jabbed his finger in the air.
Can I really do it?
We all can. This is a powerful transformation in our thinking that can relieve us and make us more peaceful.
Kind of like the saying, why worry about the things you can control because you can control them? And why worry about the things you can't control because you can't control them?
Well, mine has a deeper philosophical point.
Of course, Mr. Professor.
Travis rolled his hand as a show of playful respect, and Rishi smiled.
Enjoy your effort, since the outcomes may not happen the way you want. And even if they do, you will begin to chase new outcomes.
So let me see if I'm getting this. How you said it. You can control your effort, but not your outcome.
Then he raised his hand.
I can do better. Love your effort, not your outcome.
You're a good student, Travis.
I'm the best.
Travis thumped his chest. Travis's energy and spontaneity always created a positive vibe for Rishi.
All right, that was the second point in transforming our thoughts. Love your effort, not your outcome.
Do real people derive happiness from the effort and ignore the outcome? Does that happen really?
It does. It really does. Teachers derive joy from teaching, even though they don't witness the success their kids achieve. True painters paint for inner satisfaction, not for external appreciation.
Well, okay.
He wanted examples that are more robust but did not verbalize his thought.
I would tell Priya, study not because you want a good grade, but because you enjoy it. When I ask college students what they want in life, do you know what they say?
It's got to be money.
Travis grinned.
Yes, rarely does someone say they want to do work that will make them truly happy and content. In today's society, we celebrate the outcome, not the effort. It's making us shallower and ultimately causing discontent. There is great joy in loving our work and doing effort for the sake of effort. Those who enjoy their effort without regard to the outcomes are blessed.
Travis hesitated.
Does that mean I should give up my goals?
No, never. My point is, your goals are not as sacrosanct as you might have thought. Work towards your goal by all means and with all your heart. But make sure those goals exist for you. You don't exist for those goals.
Not sure what all that means.
All right, let me explain. Don't let your goals become a chronic obsession. Don't fall in love with them. Use them as a roadmap. Use them as a guidepost, as opposed to them becoming the be-all and the end-all. And choose your goals carefully.
How do I do that?
Do not make losing weight a goal. It's an outcome.
Make goals about the effort. Eat healthy. Exercise.
Yes. And at Travis Store too, make sure you include goals that focus on the development and effort as well, in addition to outcomes such as revenue and growth.
So we should be measuring both effort and outcome. This is good. I'll go back and revisit Travisto's goals.
Do that. If you transform your thoughts towards your efforts, you will experience a new freedom. Because outcomes won't suffocate you. Your anxiety and stress will go down. You will find greater joy and become more peaceful. And amazingly, you will become more successful. It's a paradox. The less you think about outcomes, the more you will achieve them.
Okay, don't ignore outcomes, but don't obsess about them.
Travis exhaled, almost as if he was breathing out his stress. Rishi did a thumbs up and then held up 3 fingers.
I want to talk about the third point under transforming our thoughts. It has a sweeping effect on our attitude and prepares our mind for quietude.
Oh, okay, what's that?
Moderation. It's a powerful technique.
Rishi shook his head.
If I had moderated, my life would have been much better. Whenever I have screwed up, it's because I have overindulged.
Buddy, how have you overindulged?
You've been to our house, Travis.
Rishi lived in the fast-growing, lush, family-friendly suburb of Sugarland.
Oh, yeah, that lovely house on the water?
I wanted a bigger, more beautiful house.
Why, it was just the 3 of you, isn't it?
Yes, but the problem was my friends had nicer homes. We had lived in our house for 10 years. I overextended buying the new house. I wish we had stayed put. Suchi did her best to dissuade me.
Well, why didn't you listen to her, man?
I wish I had.
Rishi looked wistful.
I'd look online at homes for sales. Never realized when it took such a strong hold on me. I wanted a nice home theater, bigger garage, nicer lake view. I wanted to feel good at parties, talking about where we lived.
Would you say it was your addiction?
Certainly became one. I couldn't stop myself, even though we didn't need it. If Suchi discouraged me, I was ready to fight. If my realtor said something, I was ready to fire her, even if all she was trying to do was help me. Due to my ego, I lost my objectivity.
Wow, that's not good.
I know. I enjoy the house very much, but I've lost sleep worrying about paying for it. Now that I look back, I didn't need to buy a 6,000 square feet home.
Travis widened his eyes.
Wow, man, that's huge.
It was fine when I had a job, but when I lost it,
Oh, you did?
yeah, I didn't have a job for 18 months, Travis.
Ooh, I can't imagine. That's a long time.
No kidding. That beautiful house, that wonderful, beautiful house, became such a burden. A less expensive house wouldn't have caused me so much stress.
But you didn't know you'd lose your job.
No, I didn't.
Why didn't you sell it off?
Well, the oil and gas industry took jobs away, and it also killed the real estate market. I didn't want to take a big loss.
So you were right smack dab in a double whammy.
Travis punched his fist into his palm. Rishi shook his head.
Whenever I have forgotten to moderate, I have ended up in trouble. I have chased return in stocks, fantasized about the money, and then burnt myself. I've made mistakes, and then my ego hasn't allowed me to accept those mistakes. My advice to anyone? Invest in stocks, but moderate your fantasy about the profits you will make.
I don't get that.
Well, when you become greedy, you may have healthy profits, but you hold out for more, end up losing it all. There is a saying among stock investors, pigs get slaughtered. I've learned that the hard way.
Many of the technology stocks have gone up for years. Selling those stocks would be stupid.
Well, if your decisions are based on fundamental and technical analysis and sound risk management, you're fine, you're good. In my case, it was just wishful thinking based on ego, hope, and prayer.
Travis nodded.
That would be a problem.
Moderation is not my concept, it's a law of nature. Without salt and sugar, food isn't tasty, and your body needs them to function well. But overconsumption can create serious health issues. It's the same with the material world. Take only the right amount to have a happy life. Know when it's too little and know when it's too much.
So how do you know when it's enough?
Great question. Don't let anything have a strong hold on you. Whether it's work, relationships, emotions, possessions, whatever else.
Travis digested the point.
Well, I gotta say, buddy, Travisto has a big hold on me.
I know, Travis, I know that. And remember, we talked about passion versus obsession. Have a passion for Travisto, not obsession.
Well, how do I balance it and tell the difference between passion and obsession?
Obsession will induce fear, anxiety, irritability, and mood swings. Passion will give you positivity and dedication. Make sure Travisto exists for you and not the other way around.
What do you mean?
Don't let your happiness be hostage to the company. Travisto is only one aspect of your life. A very important aspect, I'll give you that. But it's only one aspect. Work really hard on Travisto. But if for some reason it doesn't succeed, walk away without losing your confidence, your motivation, and then reapply yourself to another opportunity.
Yeah, but I can't let it fail.
And see, that's the trap.
What's the trap?
Travis raised his brow.
Say, I don't want it to fail, rather than saying, I can't let it fail. By saying I can't, you're taking ownership. Don't be in bondage. When you say I don't want it to fail, you're saying I'm going to do everything I can, but I am still the master. Your life is much more important, much bigger than one company.
You know, I've thought about that. When I was in Houston, I had time to do stuff. Travisto has sucked my entire life since I've started it.
Then moderate how much hold Travisto has on you. You might actually generate more success that way.
Travis fidgeted slightly. Rishi let the point sink in.
If we step away from our addictions, it will provide instant relief from our burdens, reduce our worries, make our lives better, and uplift us towards peace.
That was a message intended as much for Travis as himself. There was a knock. Room service. Rishi opened the door. As the server set up lunch on the round mahogany table by the bar, Travis stepped toward the window and responded to emails on his phone. Rishi thanked the server as he left. Travis walked to the table with a pensive look, and he smiled before Rishi could notice.
How's the quesadilla?
It's pretty good, but this salsa's quite hot.
I like spicy. Let me try some. Whoa, that's spicy. Even for me.
Travis wiped his eyes.
I'm not having any more of that.
It should come with a warning.
Well, it did say habanero.
Lucky you didn't go in deep.
Rishi smiled suggestively.
What is it?
You know, Travis, this world is like this habanero salsa. If you aren't careful and dip too deep, it'll get really spicy.
Oh man, you can find an analogy in anything, can't you?
Of course I can. Of course I can, Travis. If you don't know anything else, you know that.
Rishi smiled. He put his fork down.
Do you remember the fish lady story?
Oh, yeah.
I am caught up in stocks. You are caught up in Travisto. We need to train ourselves to sleep without our stinky fish. Moderation will help us gain freedom from our own bubbles.
Moderation's a lot harder than you make it sound, buddy. Just thinking about putting mental distance between Travisto and me is very difficult. I mean, if it's a complete mess right now.
I know. I fully understand that, Travis. And it's not easy to tell the mind to let go. So many people fail to diet because willpower only works for so long.
So, how should they do it?
Well, the people who succeed don't diet.
What do you mean?
It's a lifestyle change. They change their habits slowly. They don't cut off sweets completely. They moderate the quantity and frequency. After months and years, their outlook on desserts change. They don't stop their mind cold turkey. They train themselves to get over desserts. They still enjoy them, but the hold becomes lesser.
So let's cut to the chase, my friend. What's my lifestyle change?
Great question. Start with baby steps. Stop checking emails and messages all the time, especially in the evenings. I need to stop checking stock prices every hour. If we cut back on the stimuli, it will allow us to create a buffer.
That's not easy. Things change constantly.
I know, I understand that. But you need to learn to take some time off. Try reducing the frenzy. That will give you the upper hand. Then you'll make better decisions for you and Travisto.
Travis did not respond. They finished lunch. Rishi made a trip to the restroom. Travis went back to answering his texts and emails. When Rishi returned, Travis said,
You know, buddy, we're like race car drivers, and our minds are like the engine. To win the race, we need our minds. But if we push the engine beyond the operating range, we'll burn it.
Good one, Travis. That's a nice analogy.
The problem is, I don't have the luxury of slowing down. I'll get run over. Even right now, I have a fire raging in my team while I sit here with you. It's driving me crazy.
You realize as long as you live, Travis, those fires aren't going to go away.
Isn't that the ugly truth?
Do you know how moderation helps? It reduces the quantity of thought.
That's an interesting angle, reducing the quantity of thought.
Yeah. If you have fewer thoughts, you'll be more peaceful. That is powerful. If you're addicted to thinking about Travisto, you'll feel like a hamster in the wheel. Moderate the quantity of Travisto thoughts and see if that begins to make a difference. I'll bet you'll find easier and faster success.
Travis listened quietly. Rishi gestured a car.
You know, Travis, your race car analogy?
Bringing the mind within the operating range.
Yes, thinking excessively will burn the engine or make it inefficient. Be in the range to maximize your productivity.
You know, it's like a computer. If I run too many applications, it will make everything run slower.
Now, why didn't I think about that?
You know why.
Travis eyed Rishi mischievously.
Now, I don't like just old analogies. Wait a minute. I can think of modern ones too.
Travis grinned. Rishi smiled too.
If you focus 90% of your thoughts on the present as opposed to the future, if you focus 90% of your thoughts on the effort as opposed to the outcome, and if you moderate your thoughts, you will feel freer, lighter, and unshackled. This will boost your well-being, your productivity, and your creativity, ultimately giving you a lot more success.
My friend, you better be right.
Only way we'll know, Travis, is if you try it.
Okay, it's time for me to give it a shot.
Next, I want to talk to you about transforming our thoughts so we can be happier. Changing how we think can have such a big impact on our happiness.
End of chapter 12. Transform your thoughts. Takeaways from this chapter. You cannot cheat your mind. It sees and registers everything. A constant series of similar thoughts and actions can take on huge proportions. Spend less than 10% of your thoughts on the future and 90% on the present. We cannot control the outcome. We can only control our effort and attitude. To find peace in life, focus on the effort, not on the outcome. If you live in the future and/or chase outcomes, you will live with anxiety and stress. If you love your effort, you will experience heavenly joys. Love your effort, not the outcome. A glutton eats too much. An anorexic eats too little. Both are wrong. Only moderation is healthy. If you moderate your mental addictions, it will provide you refreshing freedom. To transform your thoughts, live in the present, not in the future and not in the past. Love your effort, not the outcome. Obsessing about outcomes will undermine your success and happiness. Enjoy, but moderate. Be a slave to nothing. The ability to engage at an arm's length without obsession and addiction is a powerful way to calm the mind.